Hello, I'm Daniel. It can be a really good feeling sometimes when we think our meditation is really working well, especially if we've been struggling for a while and then we're suddenly able to stay with the breath or stay with our experience for several minutes. That can be really, really satisfying. We spend so much time in the daydream not being fully present that when we step into this moment, it can be a shock to our system sometimes too. And that can create its own problems. Once we have a moment of clarity, we might tend to cling to it. It can be very discouraging when some of our meditation sessions feel successful and others do not. It's so hard to maintain a passive attitude sometimes. So when we have a really good sit, a really good meditation session, it really just can make the less good ones just excruciating because we just think, why can't I capture that again? And that's no good. So what I want to encourage you to do is accept whatever your experience is in your meditation practice. This can be really challenging. We want to have feelings of satisfaction or frustration and just notice them. Just be aware of them and be with them. If we attach a lot of significance to either satisfaction or frustration, then our practice could suffer. We want to be with these feelings and not cling to the satisfaction, but also not push away the frustration, but just be with them and just notice them and just say to ourselves, right now, the practice is like this. The fact is that sometimes our sit will feel really successful, and other times it will feel like a failure. We will feel like, man, I just sat there and I waited for the timer to go off the whole time, or I was fidgeting the whole time, or my feet fell asleep immediately, or I'm almost falling asleep, or whatever. We're going to feel that way sometimes. And it happens sometimes that we feel that way. We feel like a failure many, many times in a row. And a lot of people get discouraged and they want to quit. And I want to encourage you to not quit. Your attention will improve over time. This is about training the mind. No one expects you to be great at this right away, or even for a long time. And in fact, no one is great at this right away. And all of us have bad sessions as well. And our minds naturally wander and get lost. It's really normal. And our minds naturally obsess about the things we want and obsess about the things we don't want. That's really natural too. So I want to have a really good sit, right? I want to feel like I'm making progress, and that's natural. It's normal to want that. What we want to try to learn how to do is have a really passive attitude, so we aren't really hard on ourselves when we get off track. So I don't tell myself when I have a bad meditation session, I don't tell myself, I'm never going to get this. I'm a terrible meditator. I'm broken, right? Or those other people sure are good at meditating and not me. You might see what other people are doing, but you don't know how their meditation session's going. And I think a lot of people also go to meditation groups and they see all the people around them look very calm and serene, and so they feel out of place because they think, I'm struggling so much and these people look fine, but they're not. They're probably not fine, right? So we get that idea that we're the only ones who can't meditate, and that's not true. And what we want to try to learn how to do is just gently bring our minds back. Just gently bring it back to the method, to the focus. New meditators sometimes feel like their minds are just too crazy to meditate, and that sort of misses the point. We're meditating to train our minds. We're not meditating because it's easy to still the mind and be present. We're meditating really because it's hard. Because we've realized how little present we are in our lives and how little aware we are of the world around us, and we're suffering because of that, and we want to suffer less. And hopefully with practice it gets a little easier to notice when our minds are wandering and to bring them back to the present moment without getting caught up in these feelings we're having. So I say it's training. I like to compare it to building a muscle, because if we have expectations of being good at it right away, we're going to be disappointed, and that disappointment is going to be a poison to our practice, right? So that's really what I wanted to say. It can happen sometimes. You have a good meditation practice, good meditation session, and that's poison because it makes the other sessions just feel completely inadequate. But what I want to tell you is trying to meditate counts as meditating, and I think if we keep that in mind, I hope that we can feel a little better. So that's what I wanted to say today. Thank you for listening to me. Have a good day.